99.3 Nigeria Info.
99.3 Nigeria Info. Lovely morning to you, Lagos, Nigeria, wherever you are listening right now. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. It's the last hour on the show, so we're not going to waste time. 5 minutes gone past the hour already. I am Sheriff Quadry. This morning, we are continuing with the conversation we started yesterday. Great stuff, by the way, for especially those that contributed on the show. So despite the existing laws enacted to curb domestic violence in Nigeria, statistical trend of domestic violence still keeps skyrocketing. While still the situation does not appear to lessen anytime soon. Rather, it is on the increase. As of the 1st of April 2020, a public opinion poll conducted on spousal violence by NOI Polls through its opinion polling center, NOPC, dedicated to capturing opinions of Nigerians daily on any socio-economic issue, reveals that, listen to this statistics, 56% of Nigerians indicated that violence against women by men is prevalent in Nigeria. 56%. 47% of Nigerians said that violence against men by women is prevalent in Nigeria. 47%. 100% of Nigerians said that it is not justifiable for both husbands and wives to assault or abuse or kill their spouses. So we kind of have an agreement that this is wrong in every sphere. Now, speaking of spousal abuse, by the way, also called, if you like, intimate partner violence. You can call it domestic abuse as well. You can call it intimate partner abuse, whatever you want to call it. It is sad to be one of the reported incidences of domestic violence in Nigeria. According to research, 50% of the women have been battered by their husbands at one time or the other. 50% of women in Nigeria. That is horrible. That is a disaster. That's a tragedy. It shouldn't be happening. 50% of married women have been abused before by their husbands. Now, I'm going to bring in my guest right now, who is an expert in this field. Olumide Omosebi is a lawyer and a relationship expert. Olumide, a very lovely morning to you. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, Sheriff. Thanks for having me.
Let's start this way. What is really domestic or violence? What is it about? What is it? Can you break it down?
Well, domestic violence is a noun. It means violent or aggressive behavior within the home that is typically involving the violent abuse of a spouse or partner. And the United Nations defines violence against women as any act of gender-based violence that results in or is likely to result in physical, sexual, or mental harm or suffering to women, including threats of such acts, coercion or arbitrary deprivation of liberty, whether occurring in public or in private life. So that is the definition of domestic violence and violence against women.
These are two separate things.
Two separate things. Domestic violence is non-gender specific.
Okay.
There is domestic violence against men, and then there is against women.
Indeed. Now, let's bring this to perspective. We're going to delve into this, but I want us to quickly, because we will open up the phone lines. This is going to be highly interactive, as I want us to attend to real-life issues as to if anybody is going through this right now, the person can call in and share their experience with us. But I'm sure that you must have heard about what happened between Mr. and Mrs. Angbo.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
What's your thought about that?
You know, today makes it exactly 2 weeks that we celebrated the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women. Exactly 2 weeks ago. That was the 25th of November. And this is like a slap in the face in the fight against domestic violence and abuse, where there is no consequence to domestic violence. And beyond that, the issue now is that Governor Autumn has set a precedent that till 2023, when he is out of office, I think,
Right.
nobody can be convicted of domestic abuse in Benue State.
Go and settle it in your homes.
Yes, because the governor has covered it up. All I have to do is join the governor to my case. Do you understand? So he has set a precedent that in the next three to 4 years, no matter how deadly the violence may be, you may not be able to prosecute in Benue State.
Is reconciliation out of it when it comes to domestic violence?
Reconciliation. Okay, it is not an impossibility, but
Okay.
I would tell you that Shija reports that in Nigeria, between 300 and 350 women are killed yearly by domestic violence from a husband, a partner, a boyfriend, or a relative.
Is this a fact?
It is a fact.
Between 300 and 500 killed
300, yes.
annually.
It's in Shija report, as in dating back to 2008.
Oh, my word.
And we did, in 2018, my NGO did a survey statistic, and we found out that 1 in every 4 women will suffer domestic abuse or violence in the first year of their marriage. And you said, while you were giving the statistics, the United Nations have it that 1 in every 3 women.
Right.
1 in every 3 women. So
It's scary.
So when you have facts, when you have statistics, when you have a woman that has been battered for 6 years, and did you see the mark on her face?
When you saw that video, did you see someone who has forgiven the man? Did you see remorse?
I saw a tired woman. I saw a woman that just wanted to get it over with. And you know the funny thing? Studies have shown that living with domestic violence can cause physical and emotional harm to children and young people in a number of ways. You have, they develop anxiety and depression, they suffer emotional distress, they begin to have eating and sleeping disorders, they have withdrawal syndromes, and they have rage. Now, this is the issue. They say, I'm in the marriage because of my children. But on the contrary, you should be out of the marriage because of your children.
People say that divorce is not good.
It is not a matter of divorce.
Because according to them, you're hurting the children more.
It is not a matter of divorce. And this is where religion interferes and interrupts a process of a legal process. Now, this is the issue. We wonder where these abusive men come from, abusive women come from.
We always ask that question.
We always ask that question. Yeah. They are raised in this environment, so they grow up repeating what they grew up with. Children are sponges. They soak what their environment gives. For example, in our foundation, I was talking to a lady, and she said, marriage, well, she's prepared. Isn't it slap?
What?
I said, isn't what slap? She said, it's, slaps now. Because when I interrogated her seriously that day, she grew up in a house that the father was always slapping the mother. So her idea of marriage was that worst comes to the worst, the man will slap me.
Oh my.
So it is more of slavery. It is more of, let me give you some facts.
Yes, please.
Globally, now this is why how would I put it? Okay, let me just give you the facts first. In Nigeria, 1 in every 4 women would experience domestic violence or abuse in the first year of their marriage. Globally, 38% of murders of women are committed by male intimate partners and husbands. According to the World Health Organization, men are more likely to perpetrate violence if they have low education, a history of child maltreatment, exposure to domestic violence against their mothers, harmful use of alcohol, unequal gender norms and upbringing. including attitudes of accepting violence and a sense of entitlement over women. That is where our cause is.
That's key.
Now, according to the same World Health Organization, women are more likely to experience intimate partner violence if they have low education. Then they are exposed to their mothers being abused by a partner or their father.
Right.
Or abuse during childhood and attitudes of accepting violence, male privilege, and women's subordinate status. So you can trace where the root cause of the continuing violence is. Now we have a governor that comes out as being the principal security officer and a symbol of law and order. And then now domestic violence is a crime in Nigeria. There's the Violence Against Persons Protectors VAPA Act, which Section 19, subsection 1 says that he who batters his spouse, his or her spouse, commits an offense and is liable upon conviction of not more than 3 years or a fine of not more than 200,000. So you find a governor coming out to condone, to conceal. You know, it's like I steal, and the governor comes and says, well, it's okay.
What should the lady have done? What should Ifeanyiwa have done in this case? I mean, it was obvious she cried out for help. She's a medical doctor, so the lack of education isn't there.
Isn't part of it.
Isn't there. So what's the problem there?
Now, this is like an acceptance of the male dominant. This is what I think. I think the first thing you should ask is, where is her family? The first thing you should ask, because you can't be a father. I'm sure if that was your daughter,
you can't take it. Nobody can take that.
You know that.
Right.
So you would say, where is her family? But this is the issue. When I put it out this late yesterday, more clergy were like, reconciliation is possible. But this is the issue. We keep burying our spouses. We keep burying. This year, between January and April, we had buried 37 spouses.
When you say bury, as in people died?
People died due to spousal violence. That is this year.
This year, I don't know how many?
Between January and April. 37 people, not in London or in Nigeria.
37.
37. And that is that I know, not what pertains in
the aggregate of every event.
Yes, you understand.
Personally, your own.
Personally. So
37.
We just keep, and this is the idea. You just say, go back. It is God will. We are praying about it. But you see, you don't gamble with people's lives. There was a case of Titi Arolo. Do you remember?
Yes, I do.
That was stabbed 76 times.
Yes, I do.
By her pastor husband. She had left 7 times. And she went back. They kept saying, go back. We're praying about it. I told her, I said, you need to leave.
You spoke with her?
She was staff in a bank with that.
You spoke with her? You told her to leave. What did she tell you?
I've heard. She was obviously under pressure. She was a very strong Christian and was more in prayer. You understand? There's Benue State. Benue State came into my radar in 2017.
Okay.
2nd of November.
Okay.
2017, when a lady, Rachel Adesav, killed her husband and 3 children and killed herself. Oh yes, it was all over the news. The issue here is that they had told him to leave. Look at the history. People tell you, can I tell you that?
In this case, majority of people are saying that she should go back to her husband. The governor has settled it. But go on, tell me what you want to tell me.
When we go religiously,
right?
Proverbs 21:19 says, "It is better to live in the wilderness than with a contentious and an irritable woman." But because we know that contention is not gender specific, we would replace the woman with spouse.
Okay.
So it is better to live in the wilderness than with, you see, it is not go and visit, it is live.
Leave.
Move and live. In Proverbs 25:24, it says it's better to dwell in the corner of a roof than to share a house with a quarrelsome spouse. The first issue is married to a hot-tempered man. Proverbs 22:24 says, do not make friends with an angry man, and with a furious man do not go, lest he teaches you his ways. The New International Version says, do not make friends with a hot-tempered person. Don't associate with one that is easily angered. The first thing is that when you find while dating that this is a hot-tempered person, you should originally, it should be your default setting. It should be a deal breaker for anybody. The Good News Translation says, don't make friendships with people who have hot and violent tempers.
There's no settling it.
There's no settling it. You see, it is a character issue. You don't pray for another person. This is it. You go to the market, you buy salt. You come home, you start praying that the salt becomes sugar because you want to take it with garlic.
That's impossible.
God does not perform magic. That is it. The only way anybody can change is if the person himself wants to change. I looked at that picture yesterday. I looked at the conference, and I looked at an abuser and a victim, and the governor sending back a sheep to the wolves' den. That is not the end.
What are the risks we are looking like?
Oh, well, more injury, more injury. Can I give you another case?
Yes, please.
This happened in 2017. There was a lady called Chinyere Sylvia Akaleme, who was a manager, and she was married to Obina Akaleme. They married 5 years. She was a manager. The man was a chef, a kitchen assistant. They got married in 2012, and she died in 2017.
5 years.
She never told her family and friends what she suffered. In fact, she had a little girl that lived with them. She warned the little girl not to tell her family or her friends anything. Due to the beatings she always had, she had miscarriages. So her parents were worried that in less than 4 years, the daughter had 4 miscarriages. So they decided that whenever she took in, she would come and stay with them. So she took in, and then her parents came to get her. She lived peacefully with them during the pregnancy, and the pregnancy came to full term.
With the parents?
With the parents.
So something was wrong.
Full term. So the day she was to deliver, her mother now called her husband to come and get her. The husband took her to the hospital. The doctor confirmed that baby and mother were doing fine. So he said, you should go and bring her things because they would be admitting her. Now, from between the hospital and the home,
right,
the guy lost his temper over an argument.
Between the hospital
and
their
home.
house?
Yes. The guy he lost his temper, beat her to an extent that she was unconscious. He now locked her in the house and switched off his phones. So the parents could not reach, the doctor could not reach. At about 4:30, when he came back and discovered she was still on the floor, he now rushed her to the hospital. He did not contact the parents. The doctor said she was brought in dead. So they tried to do a cesarean to save the baby. The baby was also dead. The man still did not call the parents. Around 8:30, he just called at night when the girl had died since and said, your daughter is dead, and the baby is dead as well. The issue is history would tell you that abuse, this is a pattern. This is especially when you have an abuser. This is not a one-time thing. The lady said even while she was pregnant, he sat on her tummy. Now you're sending her back. This is just a sad day for the fight against domestic abuse. This is the governor and his team were very ill-advised and ignorant. You do not do things like that. You don't step in to send an abuser. If this lady dies, the governor is an accomplice to murder. Do you know that?
Yes, I do. I do know that, Olumide. But let's go on a break. We need to take a quick break right now. Lagos. When we return from this break, I will open up the phone lines. If you need help, it's time to call in and share your story. If you got any story, stay here on Nigeria Info. We are the nation's #1 talk station.
This is an infomercial.
Hey guys, it's your deals plug, and as usual, I've got the best news. In the Enjoy mouth-watering.
Only at shop.
Does it?
Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
This is Morning Crossfire on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
99.3 Nigeria Info. I am Sheriff Quadry discussing domestic violence. I've got a question for you on Twitter, by the way. I'm asking if you think reconciliation can end domestic violence. If you're not following us on Twitter, please do that right away at Nigeria Info FM on Twitter. On Instagram, we're there at Nigeria Info FM Lagos. Our original Instagram page has been released back to us. At Nigeria, many big shout out to the digital team for their endless work and sleepless nights on that, to making sure that we retrieve back our original Instagram handle at Nigeria Info FM Lagos. A lot is happening on that page. Do follow us if you're not. Olumide Omosebi is a lawyer, a relationship expert. He's here with us sharing real life experiences with us this morning concerning domestic violence and what you should know about domestic violence. Olumide, thank you again for joining us on the show today.
Thank you.
I wish we had like 5 hours to discuss this, but we only have like 20 more minutes to go on the show. But I want us to go back very quickly because all the lines are buzzing right now. I want us to go back very quickly. You mentioned something earlier that this year alone, 37 people, spouses, have died.
Yes.
Who are these people?
Citizens of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. They are the Valentine week alone. That was February 14th. Between 4 to 7 women killed their husbands in Nigeria. That week.
What year?
This year.
This year alone.
Yes.
Valentine's week.
Valentine's week. It was all over. But, things that ought to be tabulated for people to read.
Yeah. Data.
It's data that when people see, they know that, listen, domestic violence is
joke.
not... Someone has been abusing a woman for 6 years, and then in one...
short meeting.
6 years has been wiped off, and the man's character has been cleansed by the blood of Governor Autumn. And then they are now a new married couple. Did you see how tired she was when she was talking?
I saw that.
Did you see that she would look at her hair?
She looked exhausted.
She had no self-awareness. Look at the face of the husband. He was just standing.
What support do you think she needs?
I would have looked for her family. I would have looked for her family. Nobody, I'm sure if that was Governor Autumn's daughter, I don't think with the scar on her face, him seeing that, he would just say, go back to your husband. Let us just reconcile. Would that have happened if it were his daughter? I'm sure he would have used the organs of the state to lock up the guy.
If you're not watching right now on Facebook, please do that. I've got comments dropping on Facebook page. You're streaming live there.
It was just a slap on the face of the entire state, because now nobody can be convicted of domestic violence.
Someone should have been convicted.
Nobody, because the governor openly came out to pardon, to cover that it is a crime. So the governor just covered a crime. So there is no, if it was murder, he just covered it up. If it was stealing, he just covered it up. That means there is no rule of law.
Let's do something. Let's hear from people who have experienced domestic violence before. If you have, please call me. If you have not, but you need clarification on your current relationship, please call me. 0700 993 993 993.
You'll get more calls than that.
You
would not get that. Let's go.
All right, then let's do that. 0700 993 993 993. So we're going to, if you're sharing your story, please know that we don't have all the time. So you have to be very quick. Brevity is the watchword. Yes. Let's do this. Hello, good morning to you.
Morning, sir.
Good morning.
Adegoke from Lekki.
Yes, please.
I've seen people who have gone through domestic violence some years ago where I used to live. But unfortunately, it was even the woman that was beating the man. The woman had this very huge physical strength body, bigger than the man. So she was really bullying the man every time. So I feel the man's exhibit their strength through their masculinity mostly, and the women execute their strength through their words, through verbal means.
Thank you, Adegoke. Bami is here from Lekki. Bami, good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
Mr. Sheriff.
Morning to you.
Yeah, I'm calling in regards to the questions you asked.
Yes, please.
Whether reconciliation will solve or not. Let me quickly share a story, life story.
All right.
Yeah, my brother of mine got married in the village. They started living in the town. So he was beating the wife, unknown to us, nobody know in the village. So once a time, the sister to the wife visits them in the town.
Okay.
So later, when she go back to the village, she started reporting to the family of the woman that is. So the one was denying, said, no, my husband is not beating me. I'm married to him. So let them leave her. Nobody should come in between. Funny enough, it's my brother, blood brother.
Okay.
Funny enough, they are living good today. Okay. So in conclusion, what I'm saying is that sometimes women, when they begin to prove arrogant or stubborn, they contribute 95% to prolonging the domestic violence. Even though men,
Okay.
started it most of the time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bami. Oladipo is here. Oladipo, good morning to you.
Good morning, Sherry.
Morning to you.
Good morning, our guest.
Good morning.
Yeah, this is Pastor Ladipo calling from Orile Gomo. See, one of the things that is facing us today is denial. Many people, for the sake that they want to keep their marriage, they allow these things to fester on. Me, as a pastor, I will never. In fact, when the Bible says what God has joined together, I will put asunder by myself. Once I discovered there is anything like domestic violence, I will not wait a minute. I will make sure I separate both of you. Thank you and God bless you.
Thank you, Oladipo. Samson is here, though. Let's really speak with Samson very quickly right away. Let's see. Please release Samson's call. Thank you. Samson, hi. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Mr. Quadry.
Good morning to you.
I don't want to say a lot, but I just want to contribute. Quite sure I'm not yet married.
Okay.
But there is something that people fail to understand in such type of issue. First of all, you consider how the man and the woman met, where they actually met. Now, for example, if a guy meets a girl in a club,
right,
I hope it's a different result. And if a guy meets a woman in a church, it's a different result.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I?
Let him land.
Wait.
Let him land.
And if a guy meets a lady in a ghetto,
right,
it's a different stuff.
Wait.
So,
if a lady what?
I said if a lady and a guy meet in a ghetto.
In a ghetto?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a different stuff.
All right.
And if a man also meets a lady in a beer parlor, what are you expecting at last?
Thank you, Samson. Before you respond, Ngozi is here. Let's just take Ngozi, then you will respond. Sorry, Olumide. I know. I'm sorry. Ngozi, good morning to you.
Good morning, Mr. Sherry.
Good morning to you.
Good morning. Honestly, the entire story is so pathetic. For me, I don't see any reason why any human being should justify domestic violence. Those men trying to justify because the women verbally abuse the man that causes the man to start hitting her or beating her. Do they do the same when they meet the male counterparts on the way or other female? Maybe you have misunderstanding in your workplace or other places where you go in the market. Do you start fighting that person and start hitting the person because the person has said you are stupid or said something of sort to you? The issue is that if you are a man and you must be in marriage, same applicable to a woman, you must, as a matter of fact, learn self-control and anger management. There is nothing on earth for me that should make a man lay hand on his wife or even talk more another woman. You physically, both are not same in terms of physical strength. So why should you do that? If you feel the person has battered you or done something wrong, the law is there for you to take to a redress.
Thank you, Ngozi, for calling. Appreciate it. Olumide.
Sorry, I have been trying to hold my breath. The gentleman that called and said if you meet a woman in a bar, if you meet a woman in the church, are you telling me that the location of your meeting would determine the law that would govern your or what is permissible? That means that the women you meet in a bar are less of a human being.
It was saying the characters.
It doesn't matter.
The places you meet your spouse determines the character of such person.
If the character is toxic, if the woman or the man is abusive, it is not compulsory to marry or remain married.
Not by force.
It is not by force. And then when he said that, I want to give him a statistic. This was what we got in 2018. 2 out of every 5 marriages would end up, that is in Nigeria, would end up in a separation or divorce before the second anniversary of that marriage.
Wait, repeat that.
2 out of every 5 marriages would end up in a separation or divorce before the second anniversary of
in
that
2
marriage.
Years.
Yes.
They will go their separate ways.
Yes, either separation or divorce. And then 1 in every 4 women will suffer domestic violence or abuse in the first year of her marriage. And 82%, that was, I don't know what it is in 2020 because of Corona, but 82% of cases of domestic violence separations and divorces are from Christian marriages. So when you are telling me that because you met someone in church, it means that you would have a happy married life, then people that don't have statistics, watch how you lay your facts. It is totally inaccurate.
82%.
82%. 82%. This is fact. Go to the... Okay, why are you looking like that?
I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, it's really sad. Enyichuku on YouTube, he's watching on YouTube. He says, "Hello, Mr. Olumide. I want to ask, do we or the society recognize non-physical, mental, and emotional abuse? Most men suffer this in silence and then get psychologically disoriented. This leading to vices."
Oh, yes. If what he is saying is that a lot of the abuses were triggered by words from the woman.
Right.
Yes, it happens. But when I say when you can no longer bear it.
Right.
When you cannot, there was a friend of mine that, someone that had come to our NGO.
Right.
He called me. He said, I need to come and get him out because he doesn't know what he will do. I said, what do you mean? He said, I've taken this for 6 years and this is the last straw. Olumide, you need to come get me. He locked up himself in the room, and not only did I get him, we moved, that evening I sent, we agreed and somebody came to move his things because he knew that, listen, this cannot today.
It's a breaking point.
Yes. So when you know you are getting to your breaking point, and then you would do something that could send you to jail, you need to leave.
What are those signs that people will need to watch out for?
It's all in the dating. It's all in the dating. I don't know how people, I am a born-again Christian. I've been born again since I was 9 years old. So I'm not talking from like someone from outside. But the issue here is that people don't date. Dating is not sleeping with each other. Dating is getting to know the character of a person. A marriage always assumes the character of the parties involved.
Oh.
It is, yes, it is. It does not assume your religion. It does not assume your status. It does not assume your education. It does not assume your location. It assumes the character. You marry an angry man, you get battery. You marry a jealous woman, you get insecurity. It is always about the character of people involved. So people should always date. But they don't date anymore. They just said, people would just say, well, we prayed about it and God said, this is my husband, this is my wife.
What is your position on divorce?
My position on divorce is when there is hardship, irretrievable breakdown of the marriage, where the marriage has gotten to a point where both parties can no longer continue, then go your separate ways. You cannot force people to stay together. You cannot force people to, that is enslavement.
Are you saying that troubled marriages can't be saved?
You remember I said when it has gotten to a place where both of them can no longer. For example, number one is abusive marriages. I've buried
that
people,
can be salvaged.
No, when it is, you see, when you say there is past tense and there is future continuous tense. So domestic abuse is not past tense. He slapped me yesterday. It is what you call present continuous, future continuous. When it is the order of the day. There's a lady that comes to our support group. She says when they hear the horn of her husband coming into the compound, that her blood pressure, just the children, everybody scampers, that herself and her children sleep in one room. Because...
Separate room?
No, together. Because they don't know what will happen. So what kind of marriage is that? When, some people...
Olumide,
Yes.
I am so sorry. We need to go.
Oh.
But I need you to give out your contact for anybody that needs support very quickly in 10 seconds. Can you do that?
Well, you could call me WhatsApp on 0909 3214 942.
Can you take that again?
0909 3214 942.
Lagos, we have to go. Olumide, thank you so much for coming on the show.
All right. right, thank you. Relationship 360 on Saturday.
Yes, Olumide has a show on Saturday, Relationship 360 from 9 o'clock on Saturday morning. I am Sheriff Quadry. Bye for now.
Are you searching for an opportunity for financial freedom? CashFX Nigeria is a reliable, regulated, tested, and decentralized system where you can leverage to make continuous residual income. You don't have to sell.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.